Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Air Force Academy with Zebu Nation, a football manager story. And today we've got a recap of the 2020 non-conference schedule for NCAA Division I soccer. I hope you got all that. We're not going to waste a lot of time because we got a lot of things to go to. So let's get right into the schedule. Take a look at our non-conference schedule. And you can see it was a little bit of an up and down schedule here. We ended up 4 wins, 3 losses. That's a significant downgrade from last season. If we take a look at last season, we ended up in the non-conference. We had 1 loss and 1 draw in the non-conference. So, not quite as good. And we'll kind of get into the reasons why as we go along. But I'm going to start off just sort of going through the schedule and do a rundown. Now, the one thing we can't look at is highlights for most of these games because for whatever reason, it's only saving the last 3 games of highlights. I don't remember that being a function of Football Manager previously. I don't know if I accidentally tripped a setting or what, but it's only been saving my last 3 games. So we're kind of out of luck in terms of replays, but we can at least look at the games in order. So let's go. It started out pretty well against the old IUPUI Jaguars. Indiana University, Purdue University of Indianapolis took them down 4-0. Billy Davis gets us going in the 2nd minute with a set piece. Okoro scores with 59 minutes. And then Mick Day, 2 goals late in the second half to sort of salt things away. So our freshman left winger we were worried about, saying maybe this guy isn't good enough to be a starter. He starts the non-conference season with a pair of goals against IUPUI. So, that's pretty good. That was sort of uplifting. And then we followed that up with a 3-1 victory over UC Davis. Vargas gets a goal, Lewis gets a goal, and then they throw in an own goal just for funsies, I guess. We got scored on once. Ed Hippolyte, the famous Amazon warrior, scores on us. But, that own goal, if I recall correctly, that was a cross going into Willis. So that was going to be a goal anyway. And this guy just kind of got in the way and tipped it in his own goal. So that should have been a second goal for Willis. But anyway, we start out pretty strong in the non-conference. 2 wins right off the bat. We're feeling pretty good. And then we have a home game versus Rhode Island. And we start to see a little bit of a problem. So we go up early on penalties. Lewis Willis, again, gets another goal. And then they get one right back in the 20th minute. Then we're cruising along. They're holding us defensively. We can't break through. And we think we're heading into extra time. And in the 90th plus 6, the final seconds of extra time, they get a goal and Rhode Island beats Air Force. That was very disheartening. We were hoping to go undefeated in this non-conference season, and that sort of took some wind out of our sails. But then we bounced right back 3-0 over Virginia. A very strong athletic program down there in Virginia. And Willis strikes again, another penalty, and then a goal in the 48th minute. And then Billy Davis again on a set piece in the 68th minute. And we crunch Virginia 3-0 at Virginia, which through a quirk of the schedule, it's the second time we played Virginia this year. We beat them 2-0 at Virginia in the spring season. So we kind of have Virginia's number for whatever reason. But those, I thought, okay, we're back on track. We're back on schedule. That Rhode Island was a blip. And, maybe things aren't so bad. But then I believe at this point, between the Virginia and the SIU Edwardsville game, I believe this is the point in which Willis gets injured. Willis is injured for these final 3 games. SIU, Edwardsville, Nebraska, Omaha, and then Providence. And our team shows our offense goes up and down. And we lose another late one. 95th minute goal by Gary McDonald. After sort of fighting back, Mick Day with another one, the freshman, gets another goal, his 3rd goal of the non-conference season. And that was very unfortunate. Now, here's something we haven't been able to look at so far. We haven't been able to look at the game-to-game stats, and we haven't really been dominating in these games this off season. We're not getting the massive number of shots we've been getting. You see, we only get 13 shots this game, 9 on target, which is pretty good. 56% possession, which is pretty good, but it hasn't been the same feeling. It hasn't been that sort of dominance that we had last season. There's just something kind of missing. There's an ingredient missing in the stew. I think I know what it is. The college coach in me says it's our lack of seniors. We got 3 seniors in our senior class, and that's it. And we don't have that leadership on the field. All right, so here we go. Edwardsville in the red. They get the early goal. Russell crosses it in. They've got their own Willis, and he scores on us. So you got to watch out for those Willises. And here we are bouncing back. Garza, he's going to cross it to his man on the back side here. Day, who just volleys it in. He had a couple of those volleys this offseason, and so that ties it up. And then here we go. 95th minute, set piece corner. We lose to McDonald, and there we go. SIU Edwardsville pulls off the upset against Air Force. Starting to see a trend here, losing these games late, and usually that comes down to on-field leadership. Then we bounce back yet again against Nebraska Omaha. Alan Laughlin comes in. He gets the start because Willis is out. Okoro gets the goal in the 43rd minute, and then Omaha tries to bring it back, but it's a little too late. They score right before halftime, but the second half just goes by, and neither team scores any goals whatsoever in the second half. Again, this is another one where we sort of get the better of them, but not really. They got more shots than us, more on target. I guess we had more possession, but here we go. Here's Laughlin with a penalty straight down the middle. Laughlin is our freshman striker, by the way, the guy who was injured in the spring season, but he's come back. Here's Davidson with a great steal. Another guy we haven't seen much of. Davidson, I believe, is a sophomore that we haven't seen much of at the right wing. But he's got some speed and some aggressiveness, so there we are. We're up 2. There's Davidson again being aggressive. He loses the tackle. There's Gallagher with a chip shot on the doorstep. But it's not enough, and we're able to pull out the victory. So there we go. 2-1. So we lose 2-1, we win 2-1, and then we lose 2-1 again, this time to Providence. And, again, look at that. 7 shots, 2 on target. We had 59% possession, but we're just not working the ball into scoring position enough this year. I don't know what it is. It could be our lack of a target man. Our lack of connection between the midfield and the strikers. But, they go up early. We tie it up, and then they score one late to win it. Again, another late goal. We lose it. So all 3 losses in this non-conference schedule are late losses. What is that down to? Is that coaching? Is that players? Is that lack of experience? So here they are. Set piece. Wide open. Lopez. Nothing the goalkeeper could do about that. Then here we are coming back. Gomez playing down the left-hand side. Gets it to Okoro. That was a great cross from Gomez. And then here they are again. Late set piece. 90th minute. McDonough on the back post. So they're getting them on the left side. They're getting them on the right side. There's just not a lot. Not a lot we can do to stop those. I don't know. It looked like our guys were there. But what can you do? So there we go. It's not the worst going 4-3 in the non-conference, but it's not great. So we can take a look at our competitions. The West region places us in 13th place out of 25 teams, so pretty much dead center. 12 points. Eastern Illinois at the top of our region with 21 points. 7 wins, no draws, no losses. And, that's not great. We were supposed to finish top but that is nowhere near the top. So we might have some board trouble. So the commandant might pull us into the office for a talking to. Now, of course, top 25 list, nowhere near the top 25. We are quite a ways down, 66. We're still better than we were at the end of the spring season, where we were like 80th. So we jumped up 14 points, but yeah, it's still not good enough. It's still nowhere near where we want to be. 128 to 1 odds for the championship, which is deserving right now. We're sort of in flux right now, so it's not looking great, especially since this is supposedly our contract year, though it's kind of hard to discern whether that is actually the truth or not. But anyway, we can look at the club vision, see what the club vision is all about. So again, we're satisfied, supposed to finish in the top 2, and it says that we're doing our best, trying our best in D1 soccer this season, and he's satisfied with that, so we'll see how far that goes. Pleased that the team is on course to finish in the top 1 place this year. Okay, I don't know where that optimism is coming from, but I'm glad about that. Non-conference, finish in the top 2 places. They're pleased the team is currently on course to finish in the top 1 place, which again, I don't know where that's coming from, because we don't have any more non-conference games, and our conference games don't count against non-conference schedule. So I don't see how we're on course to finish on the top, but we're not going to correct the commandant if that's what he thinks. And then D1 soccer, spring season, says the team is currently on course to finish in the top 1 place. Spring season is over. I don't know how we finished in the top 1 place, but again, I don't know where the commandant's getting his information from, but we'll take it. And then finally, Western Athletic Conference, top half reserving judgment. We haven't started WAC play yet. So, speaking of WAC play, we're going to make some adjustments going into the WAC season. We're going to try some new things out in our tactics. Take a look at the tactics. So, the old 4-4-2, we tried it. We gave it our best shot. It worked excellent last year, for the most of the year anyway. It worked pretty good this season, but we're lacking some punch offensively this year. So we're going to change it up. We're going to go narrow. Had some of our guys in the comments say maybe you should go narrow. So we had the 4-3-3 as sort of our backup attacking type thing, but now we're going to go, our main tactic, our main possession tactic is going to be the narrow 4-3-1-2. We can take a look at the squad, take a look at the, is this what I'm looking for? Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. Taking a look at the stats. So these are, these are the stats. This is one of the things that helped me kind of make some of these changes, but I didn't really base everything on the stats, because they're they kind of contradict some of the changes that I made. Because stat-wise, we look pretty good. There's not a lot of things terribly amiss when you look at these stats. Now, some things that do stick out. See, Escobedo only had 2 starts. He got 9 times off the bench, but he did play very well. 7.03 rating, so that's a reason to stick him into the lineup. There's Kudimbana. He got his first cap for the Democratic Republic of the Congo because of his excellent play this year. So Kudimbana's probably going to continue to start at that left back once he returns from international duty. I think he's already back, but he just got back, so we'll see how he's doing. But he had a terrific rating. He had an assist, started 7 games, played very well, so he's going to be in there. Hunley had a terrific season. Billy Davis, obviously 5 goals this year from the center back position. He has played outstanding. He's on pace to have an All-American season like we were hoping he would have at the beginning of the year. Mick Day, we're taking him out of the lineup, but he had a very good season for a freshman. 3 goals, 2 assists, 7.03 rating. That's more than you could ask for from a true freshman starting. He played very well. So if we need to go back to the wide formation, we can do it. And Day has proved that he can play at this level. Let's see, anything else that we want to look at? Oh, something interesting, something kind of funny. Robbie Thomas, the big striker that we pointed out in one of our last episodes, he played really well. He came in 4 times off the bench, had 2 starts. He didn't have any goals or assists, but he had a good average rating, and he destroyed people in our friendlies. Like, he went up against all those amateur clubs. Look at that, non-competitive games. 4 starts, 2 times off the bench, 8 goals, 4 assists. So he just destroyed those teams we played in the friendlies. So watch out for Robbie Thomas next year on your Sunday church league. He's going to be standing in front of goal and knocking them in. So watch out. I don't think he's going to get drafted on the strength of those non-conference games, but maybe those amateur clubs that he's been beating up here in Colorado, maybe they're going to sign him up after he graduates from Air Force. We'll see. Let's see. Anything else? Was there anybody particularly disappointing? Milanakis was a bit of a disappointment. Had 8 starts, only 1 assist. His tackling was okay at nearly 2 tackles a game. His passing was pretty good, 79%. Rating was a little low, 6.71. Not terrible, but sort of at the low end. Alan Laughlin, coming off injury, he only had 3 starts, only had a goal, 6.5 rating, and now we're going to be counting on him to start. Same with Morris. He didn't get a lot of playing time. 1 appearance, 6.4 rating. He didn't get a lot of game time. So again, we're kind of counting on him a little heavier than we should, but we do have options for both of these guys. We can bring other players in if they don't live up to our hopes and dreams. Let's see, we're giving a lot of these young guys some chances that maybe they didn't quite earn, but we shall see. Like Danny Hunter didn't have a great season. 2 tackles per match, which isn't too bad. 6.73 rating, not great, but not terrible. So we'll see. We might be going back to our other guys and go with the veterans, but we got to give the rookies a shot and see what happens. Let's see. Is there anything else we really need to go through? Okay, here it is. Here's the email I was looking for. Western Athletic Conference title odds from goal.com. Look at that. Houston Baptist number 1. 6-4 odds of winning the conference. Just like I predicted, they look pretty good in the stats this year. Again, just like last year. And they've got odds on favorites to win it, followed by Seattle U at 7-2, and then Air Force 5-1 odds. Dixie State 7-1, Cal Baptist 8-1, Grand Canyon 10, Utah Valley Incarnate Word, San Jose, and then Rio Grande Valley at the bottom, 350-1 odds. So you can bet they're probably not going to have a great team this year, but we're in the mix. 5-1 odds isn't terrible. 3rd place, we'll take that for sure. And then the other thing they also have the goal scoring. Dean Bilyeu, 4-5 odds to be the top goal scorer. Lewis Willis, 10-1 odds. So coming off injury, he's a little bit, well, he's not a little bit, he's quite a bit less goals this year than he had at this time last year. He had double digits at this time last year. So we'll see if he can catch up once he comes back from injury. But 10-1 odds, it's not great for what should be our leading goal scorer. And he is still our leading goal scorer. It's just not by as much as last year. Let's see. There was a couple of other things I wanted to talk about. Yeah, where are they now? Some of our players who left the team last year, most of them have found homes. It's pretty interesting. Only 2 players from last year's senior class haven't found a place to play yet. Eric Bronico and Andre Edison. 2 guys who really didn't play much at all last year, so it's not surprising. But we have had a few guys not only find some jobs, but play pretty decently. Jay Vines, we all knew he was at Tormenta FC. I think he finally got registered. Let's take a look at Jay Vines, see how he's doing this year at Tormenta. Let's hope he's got some stats on a free. 22 appearances, 3 goals, 3 assists, 7.03 rating. That's pretty good. We'll take that as a rookie season in USL. Way to go, Mr. Vines. Some other notables from Puerto Rico FC. They picked up Pinizotto and Big Daddy Kane. Both made their way out to Puerto Rico, so that's cool. Let's see. Oops, I just clicked on milestones. Career stats, Puerto Rico, 26 games, 2 goals, 3 assists. It's pretty good for a fullback. John Kane, looking good. And then our goalkeeper from last year, Pinizotto. I don't know that we'll go through everybody like this. We probably shouldn't go through everybody like this. But he was picked up on a free. 7 appearances, 9 goals allowed. Not a great rating, 6.37, but he did have 2 shutouts. So, it's not too bad. Let's see. Ritzema, Holloway, Barreras are all at Portland Timbers 2. Looking pretty good there. Victor Lissick, a guy who barely played at all. He's at LA Galaxy 2. I don't know what's going on there. But he was, he's not a great player. You can see him. His physicals are pretty low. He was on the team, but I don't think we played him much at all at Air Force. Yeah, he got 5 appearances, 1 goal. In LA Galaxy in the championship, he's got 29 appearances. Not a great rating, but he's playing, so I guess that's something. But then the big one, the guy we've been waiting for, Tucker Album, he got picked up by Rio Grande Valley, and more importantly, he got picked up by Houston Dynamo. You take a look at his contract. Contracted to Houston Dynamo. He's on a reserve MLS contract. So that's some guaranteed money right there. I think that's for 2 years. Yep, till 2022. So he gets it this year and next year. So that's pretty good. Now the problem is that for whatever reason they haven't registered him this year at Rio Grande Valley. So he hasn't actually played. He's just kind of picking up a paycheck in the West. Hasn't done anything. But maybe he'll get a chance next season. So that's pretty cool. A lot of our guys got jobs. Even a couple of surprise guys like Pinizotto and Lissick managed to make their way onto some teams. Pretty cool. I mean, Holloway and Barreras, they didn't play a heck of a lot. Well, Holloway did, but Barreras didn't play a heck of a lot. And he's on Portland Timbers too. So, yeah, we'll take that for sure. Not a lot else to go through, but there was one mystery. There was a mystery pointed out in the comments about the awards last season. And one guy in particular from Xavier, the guy who stole the Freshman of the Year award from us. So here we go. Take a look at Shane Lyons from Xavier. Freshman of the Year, right? Or is he? What is happening here? Because he was also Offensive Player of the Year last year in 2018-2019. Shane Lyons of Xavier, 20 years old. How can you be a 20-year-old freshman and win Freshman of the Year? It doesn't happen that way. So let's take a look at this guy. What's his deal? What is his deal? You can see he's playing for Miami, so something has happened for this guy. So yeah, you can see for sure he did play in 2019. Had 24 goals, or had 24 appearances, 19 goals. So that's a heck of a freshman season. But then why was he named Freshman of the Year in 2020? Makes no sense. So I don't know. Maybe they counted the ballots from last year and just sort of didn't realize what they were doing. I have no idea. It seems like a typo, a misprint. Somebody read the wrong name. But anyway, he took that award and went to Fort Lauderdale in League One to prepare for the Super Draft, where he got drafted by Inter Miami. Pretty good. You take a look at the milestones, his biography. This is how I checked to see where they were drafted. He was picked in the first round, 17th overall in the Super Draft, and he's a Generation Adidas player. So he got that Generation Adidas tag and then went to USL for a couple of games and then got drafted. So I don't know how that works. He's had a weird career playing as a freshman, getting Freshman of the Year award as a sophomore, and then getting Generation Adidas tag and all that stuff. Let's take a look at him and see how good he really is. It's hard to tell. We haven't really scouted him, but he seems okay. He's pacey. He's got good dribbling off the ball, decent finishing and stuff. He's playing well. He's got 20 appearances and 7 goals, 7.05 rating as a rookie at MLS. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on here, but good luck, Shane Lyons. He's no longer at Xavier. We don't have to deal with him stealing any more awards next year. So yeah, that's it. Let's see, anything else? I think we've squeezed everything we can squeeze out of this episode. Schedule coming up will be the Western Athletic Conference. We start out a couple easy games, Grand Canyon and San Jose and Seattle. And then we get into the meat of the schedule with home game versus Houston Baptist. That's going to be a big one. And then, of course, the rest of the season. So we'll see. There's not a lot of time left before the beta. But we'll see how many of these games we can squeeze in. Maybe we'll do them like 3 at a time so we can see the highlights and not miss out on all the highlights. But anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. Come back next time. See you then. Bye-bye.